Hello, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back. This is Force with some more Elder Scrolls Online. In today's video, I'd like to show you one of my favorite parts of this game. That's a phrase that I keep repeating, but it is continuously true. That is the dungeon diving. Dungeon diving is probably one of my favorite aspects of ESO, and today I will be showing you the Gandranen ruins. Let's head on in. So I have yet to actually go through this particular dungeon because I wanted to basically show you a fresh experience. Again, it's probably one of my favorite parts of this game when leveling up, stumbling across any one of these torch icons and then just going in and seeing, what the tile set looks like, what the environment's like, the type of enemies that are in there, whether or not there's quest, the bosses, loot drops, all that stuff. I love the dungeon diving in this game. And there's several variety of dungeons. The two ones that you'll encounter through the leveling process are the public solo and the public group dungeons. We're taking a look here at a public solo dungeon. Public group dungeons are tuned up in difficulty with much larger concentrated packs of mobs. And then there's also the private instance dungeons where you take a team of 4 into a dungeon and you clear a handful of bosses and a bunch of trash mobs. Sort of like, any of the instance dungeons you're used to in any other MMOs. But yes, this is going to be a public solo dungeon that we're going through right now, and we've got a quest, so let's talk to this NPC.
Rajin Shadow, Zara thought you another monster coming up to... Do not surprise Zara again.
What is going on?
Zara asks you that question.
Oh.
Skulking about sneaking out. Announce yourself next time. Zara might have clawed you to shreds. What would you do then? Jiggles, I thought you were one of them.
One of who?
This place crawls with Fenlord servants.
Fenlord servants.
Left behind when they created the Crown of Ascension. Zara came here looking for it, but did not expect so much resistance. You will help, yes. Zara will make it worth your while.
Sounds good, Zara.
Step lightly. Fenlords do not keep lazy servants.
I know. Alright, so she came in here looking for some treasure, and then she ended up finding all these Fenlord servants, and she wasn't too happy about that. So let's engage these Fenlord servants and help her find, what was it, the Crown of Ascension or something like that? So as you can see, these are level 31 mobs that we're going to be facing up against. Quick opening of my character panel will reveal that I am level 29. I had some complaints about my level in comparison to the NPCs that I was fighting in the videos. People saying, oh, we are seeing you out-level content, so I'd like to show you something that actually out-levels me and see if you can discern much of a difference. Just a little hint, you probably won't be able to tell much of a difference at all, because frankly, a couple of levels really doesn't make much of a difference in terms of how we're clearing things. Now, what am I doing right now? Well, I'm playing as a Dragonknight. This is actually an alt character of mine. It's a Dragonknight focused on magicka damage. The actual build that I've got right now, I've got a destruction staff on one skill set with AoE focused damage, as well as the standard of might. And then the second skill set is a one-handed shield, some defensive capabilities, a defensive ultimate here with that corrosive armor. We've got the shield charge, the green dragon blood to replenish health and increase regeneration, and then we've got the volatile armor. I do have volatile armor also on this skill setup. I will eventually end up replacing that with an AoE damage. I'm looking at either placing Inferno in that slot or going with the impulse ability, but I just need to wait till I level that up. Again, you can see I'm level 29 here. So yeah, the dungeon diving. Again, I am simply showing this to you because this is probably my favorite part of this game. I just really, absolutely, I adore it. I think it's fantastic. And, these bookshelves, sometimes if I'm feeling super RP-ish and I want to learn a little bit about the lore, I'll open them up and actually read through them. But for the sake of this video, that would be rather boring, so we're not going to do that. All right, so I'm just going to show you a bit of, again, Dragonknight gameplay, going through this dungeon. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll be editing out any of the downtime and stuff like that. But just to give you a good idea of sort of what the exploration process is like, taking a look. Now these particular dungeons, the group public dungeons usually have multiple bosses. The solo public dungeons typically only have one near the end. But we'll see. This is actually a rather large tile set, bigger than I would say. Actually, maybe this is about a medium size of any of the dungeon sizes that you'll come across. All right, so we've got our AoE here. I lay down my fire. We do our dragon claws, and then we breathe fire in their face. And typically that's more or less enough to take out whatever I'm fighting. And it doesn't even matter. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8 NPCs. The number actually doesn't make much of a difference. They all die just as quickly. Obviously, you know, because it is AoE damage. So let's go ahead and do this again. Pop that up. And this is what you're going to see me if things get like a little crazy, I'll pop that shield as well. And the great thing is I do have that shield right here, this little spike armor that you see me. I have it morphed so that it does AoE damage upon activation, which is really, really, really nice. So again, I can breathe that, go like that. It's fun times, it's good times. A video I put up yesterday about ESO, you know, covered a lot of things. I was trying to talk about the pros and the cons with my play experience so far. It's gotten pretty heated in terms of the response. Some people are, either way, there's hard swings in either direction. Some people are really like steadfast about, oh yeah, everything that you said about this game that sucks is the reason it's gonna fail. And then on the flip side, people are saying, oh, you're an idiot, this game is the best ever, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I gotta say, man, either one, if you're a fanatic in either direction, you just take a chill pill. This isn't the worst game ever, nor is it the best game ever, but it's a damn good game that I really enjoy, and that's something that's, I mean, does it go with, it goes without saying, doesn't it? I really feel like it goes without saying. You know, if you're too crazy in either direction, it's just a little bit ridiculous, and you probably need to calm down. So anyways, I brought that up again, though, just to mention difficulty, because one big thing that people really took from that video was when I was talking about the difficulty and saying, yeah, you know what, honestly, the leveling experience really isn't that challenging. And I saw a lot of rebuttals for a multitude of reasons. Some of them were saying, oh, well, you know, maybe it's just you, and maybe it's just the build. Like, maybe the builds that you're using are very efficient, and you're just good at leveling. And, yeah, I'll agree with that. Not to just toot my own horn, but I do go for, ooh, this is actually, it's a nice little upgrade here. I do go for an ideal solo leveling build. Specifically right now, this is probably one of the better builds that I've tried here. This Dragonknight AoE fire damage thing is unbelievably effective at clearing groups, and it's still very solid at clearing individual targets. And I'm not like two-shotting NPCs like I was with my Dragonknight, but it's pretty darn close, and this thing also has a heck of a lot more survivability if things get hairy. So overall, yeah, I would agree that my build definitely plays a role into it, and some people maybe aren't going to have these builds that are going to be face rolling through content. But again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn and saying that. I'm just sort of going off of the responses that I got from some people. But on the flip side, I think the bigger thing is, yeah, it's the single player content isn't supposed to be the most challenging in the world. And I even addressed that in my video and saying, yeah, I agree. Like, I understand. I understand why developers do it this way. I understand why it is this way. I am not unaware of this situation. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and hit this guy in the face. I will mention something here. Like, this is a great time. Love checking out these new areas and stuff, but this layout is very similar to one dungeon that I've been through in the past. I particularly remember the corridors being laid out in this manner, and then having this low-lying wall leading up to a set of stairs and going up there. So this is not 100% unique. They do reuse the layouts in some of these dungeons. But with that said, they are still fun to explore, and the exact art assets and everything are unique. Like, I haven't been in a dungeon that looked exactly like this, but the general layout, again, like I mentioned, with this low-lying wall, with that set of stairs, and even these behind us, these walls, these bookshelves laid out in this direction, those are all exactly the layout, and I would imagine that they basically use the exact same wireframe for the level, and then just, you know, put new art assets over it and make the scenery look a little bit different, throw different enemies in it. But yes, it is repeating. Don't expect every single one of these dungeons to be 100% unique, because they do repeat. Now, some of them are incredibly unique, but some of them are, once more, as I just mentioned, repetitive. So, and that's actually what I'm seeing here. All right, so we're gonna take out these guys, blow them up in the face again. That's fantastic. Fantastic, wonderful. And again, if we were going like super, you know, let's take our time, let's RP this, let's just read through some books about mead. Let's read the orc song, that's fun. all sorts of fun little stuff that you can do if that's the sort of content that you're interested in. All right, so we should be finding out about her relic pretty soon, I would imagine. After we clear these guys. All right. And while you've been seeing me go through these solo, remember that as I said at the start of the video, this is, while it's solo tailored, it is a public dungeon. So anyone could come in, and if there were other people leveling in this area right now, they could easily walk into this, come behind me, or run in front of me and start clearing the mobs, and I would have to wait for them to respawn. That is a fact. Now, because of being on the PTS server, there's so few people that are playing on this thing, it's hard to find anyone in the world whatsoever. But it's going to be a little bit different at launch. You're going to see a lot more people in these smaller dungeons. There's no doubt about it. And if that's something that bothers you, and I know that will bother some people, I think it would actually be, honestly, a great suggestion to just give it a little bit of time before you dive into the game, because a lot of that Zerg, when people are trying to level up quickly, that will bypass you, and then you'll have a much greater opportunity to enter these sort of dungeons. Because again, I love just going through these things. I just think, again, it's a heck of a lot of fun. You'll have a much greater likelihood of going through these solo and not being overwhelmed by other people. But on the flip side, this is an MMO, so expect to see other people eventually, regardless. Okay, so we're gonna aggro this guy, get them all into this big thing of fire, and then we've got our shield there that, again, once we pop that, will do a little bit of AoE damage. And finish that guy off. Fantastic. So yeah, as you've seen here, we've been going through. These have been level 31 mobs. Have you noticed much of a difference from when I was fighting mobs 1 or 2 levels below me? The answer to that question should be no, because it's no. I mean, there's very little difference. Things pretty much die just as fast. You know, as we talked about earlier, if you've got a build designed to do that. If you've got a bad build, well, it's going to be a much different situation for you, yeah? I mean, that's safe to say. It's going to be a much, much different situation. Okay. These soldiers, and we are just about in the last room, at which point I will be figuring out what's going on with this quest here for Zara, as well as finishing whatever that final boss is. He should probably be standing in the center of the room. Oh no, some traps, just got to avoid those. These will pop up every now and then. Something that we see sometimes in these dungeons, but I feel like not often enough, and I'd like to see more of, are puzzles. There are, on occasion, puzzles that will happen here. And yeah, I think it'd be great if they happen more often. Like, to get through a door, you have to solve this little puzzle, match these little icons together, whatever. There's all sorts of different things that they could do. I'd like to see more of those. I think that'd be great. Now, do I expect them to add a ton more puzzles to these public dungeons before launch? No, of course not. But, you know, maybe with the first big content update or whatever. All right, so here's the boss. And what I'm going to do is we're actually going to make pretty quick work of him. I'm going to dump my ultimate here. This greatly increases my damage. And we're going to root him in place. We're going to go like this. We're going to block his incoming attack. Wait, I can't switch my weapon right now? What the heck is going on? Oh, can I not attack in his little bubble? I have no idea, but he's dead anyways. And it'll just clear up the last couple of mobs and get her amulet. And then we'll just go ahead and take a look at what a lot of people are going to be super interested in seeing, and that's the loot. Lots of people always ask me, Force, you never showed the loot. I'll show you the loot today. I'll show you the loot today. I promise you that much. We got I'd say about a fourth of a level from going through this too, and that's something else. It seems as if I haven't looked at the exact numbers. I've heard it's about even, but honestly, I feel like if you had a good AoE grinding build, grinding NPCs in these dungeons, again, it's going to be different at launch when there's lots of other people trying to take those kills, but if you can find a quiet place where you can grind NPCs that respawn quickly, I feel like that might be a quicker way to level up for people who are interested in leveling up quickly. Okay, so we got a little relic over here. This is for Zara. All right, talk to your Zara.
I was worried for a moment, but we've done it. The crown of ascension is ours.
Okay, what now?
Travel to Alten Coromant to have it appraised. Surely Zara has dealt with Captain One-Eye in the past. She is wily, but Zara is her match. Here is compensation for your efforts. Rest assured, you will be remembered when Zara tells the tale.
Fantastic. This would be a really awesome helm if I was on my Nightblade. Although my Nightblade's out-leveled this at this point, but that's a good Nightblade helm. Well, that's a good... Let me rephrase that. That's a good melee weapon DPS helm. So whether or not you're a Dragon Knight, if you're using the weapon skill lines and you have a stamina-focused build, that'd be a really good helm for while you level up. So keep that in mind, because while you're leveling up, don't miss out on that quest, essentially. Don't miss out on this dungeon. Okay, and a lot of times there are sky shards. And I don't know if I may have just missed it or if it wasn't in here. I may have missed it. We might have not been paying 100% attention. But that is that. That is a dungeon run. So let's take a quick look, see what we got for loot, if there's anything fancy. Ooh. Got a robe of the Necromancer. That's actually not that great, but I don't have the set bonus for the Of the Sun, which I would keep because I like that fire damage. So this just then becomes more magicka and more armor, so I might as well put it on. And it looks all right too. We got this here, reduced magicka cost to spells, increased magicka. Yeah, I don't have the set bonus for the Warlock set either, so this is a better item to have, I would say. So we're gonna pick that up as well. And that's nice, we got a couple of pieces, got a new robe. All around, it was a successful dungeon run, and that was a look, once again, at a dungeon, a solo public dungeon here in ESO. One last thing to loot, though, which is this chest. But I guess that'll do it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I just wanted to show you a little bit of that. I thought it'd be fun to show off, again, one of my favorite parts of ESO, which is the dungeon diving. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you like the content, please subscribe. Keep watching. And keep owning. Why am I wearing... I'm wearing medium armor hands? That was a mistake. I'm gonna need to replace that with something. Anyways, let's get out of here.